This is SSPTV News, brought to you by Samsung Productions and the Hazleton Standard Speaker.
With COVID-19 cases increasing in our area, we get an update on the situation from a local doctor next. Welcome everyone, get warm, get comfortable, and get ready for some local information. I'm Ken Kara and I thank you for watching. We start with some excitement in hometown on the SSPTV Standard Speaker scoreboard. Why is everyone cheering here? Well, the Marian Catholic girls volleyball team is going to the state Single A championship. The Phillies beat Sacred Heart Academy in 5 sets at home on Tuesday. In the semifinals, Olivia Karchner had 26 kills for Marian. This was a really exciting game and you can read all about it in the Standard Speaker. Next up, Marian plays Clarion for the state title on Saturday in Mechanicsburg. This week I had the chance to talk with Dr. Jody Lenko, the Vice Chair of the Department of Medicine for Lehigh Valley Hospital Hazleton, about the rise in COVID-19 cases in our area.
I've really been impressed with was the progress, maybe the understanding of the medical community saying, okay, this is effective, this isn't effective. Has that been something positive you've seen, and have there been other positive things you've seen as we've been fighting this for almost a year now?
Absolutely. So yes, and it is easy to get bogged down in the negativity of it all, and it is still very serious and very concerning. And I live this, breathe this every single minute of the day for the past 8 months. But there are some definitive positives. We are seeing probably slightly less people die from this than we saw in the spring. There's a couple reasons for this, we think, but mostly to do with the fact, like you said, that we're a little bit better at treating it. Once people get to the hospital stage, that we know that the medications like the remdesivir and IV steroids do work. Where we're still struggling is trying to figure out how to get the people to get to the point that they need to come into the hospital. That's where we still are at a point where we don't have a lot of good treatments at home other than trying to prevent other people from getting it. So that's where we've seen some definite improvement, and both for the waves that we're seeing now. We are seeing an uptick in our hospitalizations over the last 2 weeks, but not quite to the extent and the severity that we were back in April. But it still has us concerned because it still definitely puts a big strain on our health system, not just in Hazleton, but as a whole, as a nation.
You hit on something really interesting that I talked about before our interview, that if you don't live this every day, sometimes it seems like it's in the background, you're not worrying about it. I said how I go through Twitter and I'll hear a nurse's firsthand story or a doctor, and it just stops me in my tracks. Do you think that's important for people to be hearing these stories from doctors like yourself or from nurses, so they realize this is still happening and this is what we're seeing?
Yeah, and it's not just doctors and nurses. We have our EMT workers and our police officers and all of our, our first responders in general they're forced to live and breathe this every day. And I will tell you, from working in the hospital a little bit, I don't do it as much as some of my colleagues who have utmost respect for, wearing those masks and wearing that gear every day is tiring. And a lot of these nurses and doctors and even to the food service workers and the maintenance workers and everybody that has been giving up, risking their lives, it's tiring work. And to see people have total disregard for the recommendations does get frustrating. And all we can do is just continue to get the word out that it is important now more than ever, when we have so much disease in our community, that we really need to follow the guidelines and listen to the recommendations, because it's going to impact your entire community, and not just you and your loved ones. But if we don't, we're going to be in this for longer, and nobody wants that.
Any message to our viewers, maybe that I didn't ask about, or that you have the chance right now that you want to get across?
So I think I've heard this from a couple of patients even that I saw earlier today in the office, that somebody actually said to me, oh, so the numbers that I'm hearing, I wasn't sure if I should believe the TV. It is real, and it is back in our community. I wish it wasn't. I wish we were back in July when things were really good and our numbers were low, and we told you that the numbers were very good and we were happy with that. But over the past month, we've seen a very disturbing trend in the numbers locally, as well as in our surrounding Luzerne County areas. It is real. It is back here. It is within our community. So just know that the most important thing you can do is to wear your mask, wash your hands, do all the things that we've been asking you to do. But now more than ever, it's more important to do that and to try to continue to protect our local community so that we can get through this current wave that we're in. The only other thing I would say is that one other thing that we've seen sometimes with our patients, especially as a general internist, as a primary care doc, we are worried when patients are not seeking out care. So please don't hesitate to contact your doctor if you're concerned or have some symptoms that are, whether it's related to COVID or something completely different. We don't want you to be without care, whether that's, whether it's your kids, your mom, your grandmother. Make sure you are not avoiding care. The hospital is still a safe place, even though we are seeing some slight higher numbers. We've shown that hospitals are doing a great job of keeping people safe from getting it in the hospital. So we are very vigilant about that.
Today's news feature is brought to you by Marian Catholic High School in Tamaqua, who is currently enrolling students for next school year. Feel free to stop by an information session on November 23rd and on December 8th. For more information, you can log on to mariancatholichs.org.
Time now for weather on SSPTV News.
It's going to be a nice clear night, so look up, but it's going to be cold, so make sure you bundle up. Here's our forecast from the National Weather Service. Tonight, mostly clear with a low of 22 degrees. Thursday is mostly sunny with highs in the mid-40s. Thursday night, wind gusts as high as 22 miles per hour, partly cloudy with a low of 33 degrees. Friday is sunny with a high of 55, wind gusts as high as 21 miles per hour. Friday night, mostly clear with a low of 37. Saturday, mostly sunny with a high of 52. Saturday night, mostly cloudy with a low of 35 degrees. Sunday is mostly cloudy with a high of 49, and then Sunday night, 30% chance of showers after 2 a.m., mostly cloudy with a low of 41 degrees. Still to come are in-depth community and sports features, and in the SSPTV Spotlight, the girls get crafty. Get some cool at-home craft ideas in this clip from our show, The Girls, next.
SSPTV News would like to send sincere condolences to the family and friends of these recently departed. Walter J. Sarah Sorrow, age 71, of Hazleton, who passed away on October 8th. The Crofton Youth Funeral Home handled the arrangements. George Morgan Cosgrove, age 86, of Butler Township. Services will be private under the Harwood Funeral Home and Drums. Ruth Ann Frederick, age 76, of McAdoo, who passed away on November 7th. Services will be private under the Crofton Youth Funeral Home. Ruth Elizabeth Medina Martinez, age 46, of Harwood. Services will be held at the convenience of the family under the Frank J. Bonin Funeral Home. Rabbi Michlin, formerly of Hazleton. Services will be private. Robert Walter Reinmeyer, age 87, of Hazleton. A funeral service will be held on Thursday at 12 noon at Faith United Church of Christ in Hazleton. Friends may call Thursday from 11:30 a.m. until 12 noon at the church. The Butler Chapel at the Crofton Youth Funeral Home is in charge of arrangements. Francis S. Frank Serina, age 88, formerly of Lansford. Services will be private under the Thomas J. Paramba Funeral Home in Summit Hill. Mary D. Spoor, age 86, of Hazel Township. Services will be held at the convenience of the family under the Frank J. Bonin Funeral Home. And Michael J. Yalch, age 57, of Hazleton. Services will be held at the convenience of the family under the Frank J. Bonin Funeral Home. Today's social and obituary report is brought to you by Harmon Funeral Homes and Crematory. Call 570-788-0977 or go to harmonfuneral.com.